Chelsea fans, welcome back to Talking Chelsea, welcome back to your Chelsea news. Cole Palmer has been voted as one of the best players in the world. Enzo Maresca talks about player rotation and gives a huge injury update regarding some key players in the squad. Chelsea are also after another South American Wonderkid. We're going to be predicting that Chelsea starting 11 to face Qarabag tomorrow in the Champions League, and the £100 million striker isn't worth $100 million. Now, of course, I'll be giving my own thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported, but more importantly, I want to know what you guys think down below in the comments. And before we get into the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content. We're on the road to 15k by the end of the season. You can also use the new YouTube hype feature, which pushes this video out to a bigger audience. Kicking things off, FIFPRO have reported their World 11 and Cole Palmer features in this. They asked Cole Palmer his thoughts and he said, being part of the FIFPRO World 11 is obviously a great honour, and to be voted by the other players is a nice feeling. They know what it takes, obviously, to play the game at the highest level, so to be voted by them is the best feeling. Player who can make it in the future? I think Esteval. He has all the ability to go and do great things. Hopefully he can do that here at Chelsea. Now, firstly, huge congratulations to Cole Palmer. This is massive for him. A personal accolade. It's something that we all knew. We know that he's a world-class player, and there's been a bit of backlash from rival fans and the outer side of football fans saying, how has Cole Palmer made it into the FIFPRO World 11? There should be players like Mohamed Salah who had an incredible season getting in over him. And look, I hear their arguments, I really do. But I'm going to be honest, no, I don't really care for it, because Cole Palmer is a fantastic player. He's world class, and now he's proving it. You know, he's single-handedly taken us to top games and got us through those games, like the Conference League final in the second half, how he orchestrated that 4-1 win, the Club World Cup final where he orchestrated that 3-0 demolition of PSG to secure another trophy. We know how good Cole Palmer is, and Chelsea fans are always very protective of our players when they're good and even when they're bad, right? We are just very protective of our players, especially from rival fans. But in this instance, this is voted by the players specifically. No one can really argue that Cole Palmer's in it or not when you really deep it, because it's voted by players. Players know players better than armchair fans. I think we can all agree that. They all play the game to the highest levels. Like Cole said, they know what it takes to perform at the highest level, and they have voted in Cole Palmer. And that speaks volumes. That says so much about how good Cole Palmer is valued and viewed within his peers around the world. This is just a huge thing. I remember that John Terry has made 4 appearances in the FIFPRO World 11. I think it was like 04, 05, 05, 06, 08, 09, maybe 9, 10. I think it's those 4 seasons he made that, because John Terry was one of the best centre-backs to ever play the game, in my opinion. Not putting him up there with, like, you know, other absolute legends, but he's definitely in the conversation with those. In the Premier League, in my opinion, the best centre-back to play ever. Highest goal scorer, most clean sheets, most titles won as a captain. There's so many accolades he's got, but having the FIFPRO World 11 is a personal thing, and I feel like this is an unbelievable achievement for Cole. He's going to be so over the moon with that. And I like the fact that he said Esteval can make it in the future, because I think we all know, and we're all hoping and we're all praying, but we could also see how good Esteval is already at 18 years old. He is going to take the world by storm. I have no doubt about that. And I'm agreeing with Cole, because I really hope that Esteval does those things at Chelsea, because it would be unbelievable for us fans, because we know how much of a good player we've got on our hands with the likes of Cole Palmer, who's still got like 10 years of playing ahead, how good this squad is and how it's developing and how we're going step by step and things are improving gradually. But then having a player like Cole Palmer being world class, having a player like Esteval coming into the squad at a young age, already showing signs of being world class and is well on his way of, you know, progressing up that ladder of becoming a world class player. It's just a really cool thing, and I'm so happy for Cole, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are as well. I think it's thoroughly deserved. I know he's been hindered with injuries. He didn't score many open play goals in Premier League or whatever, but on the big games, in the big games, he has more goals and assists than games played at that level. He is a big game player. And there was a big question about Cole Palmer last season. He ghosts in big games, blah, blah, blah. Never really bought into that narrative, because we watch this guy week in, week out, and he is so clutch for us when we absolutely need him. So I think this is thoroughly deserved. But I'd like to know your thoughts and opinions down below regarding Cole Palmer being in the FIFPRO World 11. Do you think it's thoroughly deserved? Should it have gone to a different player in that position on his World 11? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Bobby Vincent has reported what Enzo Maresca said on Jorgensen potentially starting tomorrow's game. He said he could be an option, yes. We need both keepers ready, and in the end, we need to treat Robert in a similar way that we deal with different players. He then talks about Dario Asugo, and he says he's still out for a while, probably need to wait maybe until December or January. Kieran Gill has reported that Pedro Neto is missing from Chelsea's training session this morning, and Bobby Vincent asked Enzo Maresca on Pedro Neto's absence, and he says it's not a problem, just a small issue. We will try to protect him. He is not involved for tomorrow's game. Now, it's just nice to get injury updates. The whole Pedro Neto thing, I'm hoping it is a small issue, because I feel like fans are either on his side or not with Pedro Neto. I'm a big fan. He can be very frustrating to watch, I think is the right word, because he does typically do the same thing. Head down, runs into space, spams the cross button. But I feel like Neto also brings a bit of experience to that front line sometimes when we're playing a bit of the youth or playing the newer players that are being rotated in. I really like Pedro Neto, and I think that if we do have an aerial threat like a Liam Delap, etc., who's regularly in the team, someone to get on the end of his crosses, he's going to rack up so many assists for Chelsea. Also, he stayed fit for a long time while being a Chelsea player, which is also down to Enzo Maresca's man management, because when we signed him from Wolves, this guy was considered injury prone, and he's played so many games for Chelsea since. So I fully trust Enzo here. If it's just a small issue and they're trying to protect him, not involved for tomorrow, okay, we should be okay with the available players we have in our squad to face Qarabag away tomorrow in the Champions League. I think it's going to be a very difficult game. Now, when it comes to Dario Asugo, I think that's pretty much standard. It's a standard issue. You know, he's going through his recovery of his surgery. I think he's going to be a huge squad player for us this season. I really do. I'm hoping that when he comes back, he stays fit, because he looks so good. And we've only seen a very small window of the opportunities and minutes that he's played for Chelsea. So hopefully his recovery is going very well. I'm hoping that, you know, we're not waiting. It's not extended. We're not waiting even longer. He's out for the whole season. But we kind of expected a 12-week recovery program. It was going to be around December, January time anyway. So it'll be very interesting to see how he's reintegrated into the squad, if he can stay fit, what sort of role he's going to have in that squad when he is fit, because obviously you've got the likes of Caicedo and Lavia, Andre Santos and Asugo, all fighting for those positions. Obviously, he looks like he's a like-for-like for Caicedo in terms of rotation, which is just going to be nice to have, because it means we can actually rest Caicedo when needed. He then talks about Cole Palmer and Benoit Badiashile being back soon. He says, "We hope so, but with Cole, we are trying to schedule the beginning and then we need to review that. We go day by day with Cole. He has not taken any sessions with the team. We have Benoit Badiashile that can probably be available after the international break for us. That is huge news." He goes on to say, "I would love to have Cole here tomorrow and for every game. Unfortunately, he's injured, but for sure, we want him back very soon." Now, I do like the way that Maresca's handling the Cole Palmer injury news, because we went a long time without not hearing anything. And it was like scans, it's not that bad, scans, waiting for the results, scans. And we knew it was going to be something drastic. And it was like, oh, okay, cool. He's having this reoccurring groin issue. He's having these pain injections. He might need surgery if he can't get over this, but he's going through a recovery process. We just need to rest him and let his body do what it needs to do. And I feel like Chelsea have done very well, and Maresca has done very well in his absence of still continuously picking up results. Even though there's been some games we've had some very bad performances, we've still picked up results where we've needed to. So it's not like we're massively missing Cole in a sense of we can't get games over the line. We are just massively missing Cole Palmer because he is a game changer. He can score goals from nothing. He can create from nothing. We are definitely missing that. That's for sure. And we can't wait for him to come back. That's for sure. When it comes to Benoit Badiashile, I'm also quite excited to have him come back because he was injured off the back of an incredibly good performance against Liverpool. And while we've had this sort of, inconsistency of performances and partnership at centre-back, Badiashile showed that he can come in and do the job to a very high standard and actually show some stability, show some leadership, show some defensive awareness, and show that he isn't full of mistakes anymore. And again, he's another player that I've been on his back for a long time, and he's kind of swayed me over, not convinced me that he's an amazing player, but he's shown me personally, and I've seen that, oh, okay, cool, maybe he's not as bad as I thought. Maybe it was just a bad patch of form, or is it a lot of these reoccurring injuries that are affecting his performance? Whereas now I'm like, actually, he's proven that he can be a very solid defender when he stays fit. It's just about staying fit. So I'm quite excited for his return because, after the international break, we're going to have December. We're going to have loads and loads of fixtures. They're starting now and it ramps up all the way until the end of the year, really. But December is going to be jam-packed full of fixtures in different competitions. So having him fit and available is going to be a huge news for Chelsea, especially while we're still trying to figure out the best centre-back partnership. Same goes for Wesley Fofana. I think Wesley Fofana is our second best defender, potentially our first best defender in debates with Levi Colwill when Fofana is staying fit. And again, I hate using that phrase, but these are just injury-prone players at Chelsea because Fofana is staying fit at the moment. A long may that continue because he just needs a little run of games, and you see how class he is. In the last game we played, he was fantastic. He was good in the air. He was showing leadership at the back. He was organising that back line. His defensive position was brilliant. His one-on-one defending was brilliant. That just needs to continue, and I feel like Fofana is a little bit of a confidence player, but more of a run of form player. He just needs a good run of games, and then he gets to his standard, and he can stay there consistently. He just needs to stay fit. So I'm hoping that he can, because that would be amazing. But in terms of Cole Palmer, obviously we know we're going to be waiting a little longer, but we are excited for him to come back, and the same with Benoit. I'm actually genuinely excited to have him back, because I think he is going to bolster that centre-back sort of issues that we're having. I think he is going to be a good option for us, which is something I never thought I would say. So, hey, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below regarding Cole Palmer's recovery and Benoit Badiashile. Are you excited for him to be back? Do you still not rate Benoit Badiashile? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. He then goes on to talk about where Romeo Lavia is physically, and he says the main target for Romeo is now to be fit. Don't get any injuries. For me, in this moment, Romeo is where Reece was more or less a year ago in terms of being back after a long time. We need to manage him all the time. The target for him is to keep him fit. We need to be very careful with him because we don't want him out again, and finally he can enjoy being a footballer. The Forest game, we planned 45 minutes for him. Ajax, he played 1 hour or 70 minutes. He played well versus Tottenham. We are happy with Romeo. I would like to have him on the pitch always, but it's my duty to protect him. Now, I kind of feel sorry for Romeo Lavia because he is an incredible player, and I feel we can all agree he is unreal, again, with this famous phrase, when he is fit. And I hate saying it, I really, really do. But Lavia, Fofana, Badiashile, a few others, maybe not Badiashile in that same sentence, but the sentiment is the same. Is they're really good players when they're fit. Like, I think Fofana is incredible. I think Lavia is incredible. Fofana, I think, gets a little bit of unnecessary slack, but it's here or there. We're not talking about him right now. It's mainly Romeo Lavia. If Lavia can stay fit for a season, then we all of a sudden transform as a team. If we can keep Fofana and Lavia fit, and Reece James, who has been fit for basically 12 months now, we're going to speak about him in just a second because Maresca speaks about 3 games a week for Reece James and how that's going. But keeping Lavia fit and keeping him in that midfield is a huge bonus for Chelsea. It's a plus. It's a big level raiser. He just changes the game in terms of the way he breaks the game up, how he reads the game, how he supports other positions, how he's cool, calm and collected on the ball, how he can turn out of pressure, he can receive it on the half turn. His passing range is fantastic. He's just such a good player. He's just let down by injuries. So I'm glad that Maresca is basically doing what he did with Reece James with Lavia, because the question is Maresca a genius if he manages to fully recover Wesley Fofana and Romeo Lavia in the same way that he did with Reece James? Because if you're being really honest and you take a step back and you look at Reece James's fitness and how Maresca is dealing with it and how he's evolved his game slightly, but keeps him fit and gets him playing multiple games a week now, where it looked like he was pretty much on his last legs after all these injuries coming back, and Stiff Breeze was injuring him for a little while longer. You have to start saying Maresca is a bit of a genius, because they all look like players that were just always going to be injured. That's just how they looked. And Reece James looks fitter than ever, touch wood. He took a naughty challenge against Tottenham, and a lot of us went, oh, he's out for a while. Got up, finished the rest of the game. No, there's no inklings of him being injured at all. He's just back, ready and stronger. And yes, his game has adapted. He's not that fullback that goes up and down all the time. He does play fullback. He sometimes drops into right centre-back, or drops in between the centre-backs when he's playing defensive midfield and supports the right-hand side. Sometimes he gets forward as well. But it's not the same Reece James position that we know, where he's just going up and down, because I don't think he's got the capabilities of doing that as much anymore. We have to start saying and praising Maresca in that sense. If he can do that with Lavia, honestly, it transforms our squad, at least in my opinion anyway. But I'd like to know your thoughts and opinions down below regarding Romeo Lavia. Are you willing to persevere with him? Do you think that Maresca can turn around his injury record? Do you think he can do what he did with Reece James, with the likes of Fofana, with the likes of Romeo Lavia? And if he does, how much of a boost does that give Chelsea? Maresca then speaks on Reece James being ready for 3 games in a week, and he says Reece is good, he is doing well, he is fit 100%. The way he has behaved every game is top. Even when he's not playing, the way that he is with his teammates in the dressing room, in the way that we use Reece, we don't use him up and down. It's a big job to do when we use a fullback in a different way. He is ready to play 3 games in a week. And this is just, I bolted this on to the Lavia news for this reason. And honestly, this isn't me just glazing Maresca. Like, genuinely, he's done an incredible job. I don't know how he's managed to do this, but he's managed to do it. He's given him time. He's persevered. New recovery, a specialist to help Reece specifically. He's managed the way that he plays the game. He's introduced this different version of Reece James, which a lot of fans, myself included at times, aren't happy with him playing in midfield. But it seems to be working, and Reece James is playing 3 games a week. And we know how unbelievably good Reece James is. He still plays right back. Yes, he plays in midfield from time to time, and I feel like he's really settling into that role. More physicality, using his passing range, helping the likes of Caicedo, whoever he's partnered with, defensive stability, dropping back to split the centre-backs defensively, which just gives us an extra body in defence. I think it works very well. I think it's definitely got a lot of potential, and we're slowly starting to see it work how Maresca wants it to work. Ultimately, he's a right-back, and I love him as a right-back. We all do. But 3 games in a week, Reece James. We haven't heard that for a long, long time, if ever. It's been that long. So I'm super happy for Reece. I'm super happy that, he is managing to stay fit for a long period because he is such a huge boost for Chelsea. He's such a good captain. And, it's just such a wild difference of where we were this time last year, maybe the season before, end of last season, around that sort of time. But yeah, about a year ago to where we are now. It's such an incredible difference in sort of fitness levels, and you just have to take your hats off and say, well, fair play to the medical staff, fair play to Maresca and this specialist that helps Reece stay on the pitch. And I like the fact that Enzo has basically said this time last year he needed to be more of a captain, needed to be more of a leader. Now he's saying the way he behaves on the pitch, off the pitch, dressing room, just everything he's done, top, and you can't ask anything else. There's so many other players that say that he helps behind the scenes as well. We just love him. He's our captain. He bleeds blue, and I'm glad that he's fit, raring to go, and hitting a good run of form. Hopefully, he plays tomorrow, and he can showcase why he is so good, because we just love seeing Reece James play, and love seeing him play to the best of his abilities. Maresca then speaks on Liam Delap's return. He says, Liam is back. He is an important player for us. He is an option for tomorrow. I don't have any doubt that at the end of the season that we will be very happy with Liam in terms of goals and the way he works off the ball. No doubt he is going to help us. For me, this is a huge game for Liam Delap. I feel like he will play against Qarabag to allow João Pedro to have some rest. We may see Mark Guiu get some minutes, but I don't think he's going to start. I think Liam Delap will be starting. For me, he has a big point to prove because he's upset a lot of the fans. We are so frustrated and angry, and we all voiced our opinions on how he behaved in the last game to get 2 yellow cards in 7 minutes, get sent off after coming back from 2 months out. I think this is a big game for Delap to come back and prove himself, keep his head down, get himself on the score sheet, or whether it's a goal or an assist, either way, just play well for the team because we've needed him massively. We have missed him so much, and like I said, the way he behaved when he came back, getting sent off in such a short space of time, just annoyed everyone. So, look, it looks like Enzo Maresca's done with it now. He's like, look, he's back, he's important. We're going to look at the back at the end of the season. We're going to be happy with him. He is an option tomorrow. Let's just see what happens. So, I'm kind of excited as well. As much as I'm frustrated with how he performed, I am a bit over it, if I'm being honest, but it's just annoying that that's kind of, how he conducted himself. But I'm hoping that he can, play tomorrow and get on the score sheet, boost his confidence, and just get him running in that Enzo Maresca system, because he just offers us such a different dynamic to what we have been playing with Mark Guiu and with João Pedro. And he's just a bit more of a polished player than Mark Guiu. I'm not saying he's worlds apart, because I think Guiu is developing, but Liam Delap obviously has a season in the Premier League, scored 12 goals, and yeah, he's just a different profile, and he's at a different stage of his footballing career. I think he's going to help us out massively. So let me know your thoughts and opinions down below regarding Liam Delap. Are you still frustrated and angry with him? Do you think he's going to be a huge boost being available to use now? And do you feel like he feels like he has to prove a point in this game? Or will Maresca go with Mark Guiu? Let me know your thoughts down below. El Intransigente, I hope I pronounced that right, apologies if it's wrong, have reported that Chelsea are looking at Boca Juniors midfielder Milton Delgado. They believe he'll be available for around £15 million. Inter Miami are also interested in acquiring the central midfielder to play alongside Rodrigo de Paul. It would be clear that this move is a stepping stone to a big European club. Now, I don't know too much about Milton Delgado. I've done a little bit of research. I've heard of the name before. He's come up a few times in conversations in terms of, like, is he a Wonderkid, a South American gem? And we know that Chelsea are always hovering around South America looking for youngsters. Now, Delgado signed for Boca last year. He's made, I think, about 20 appearances for Argentina under-20s. He's a defensive midfielder, and he looks fairly solid. His market value right now is about €5 million. He looks like one of those players that is just starting to establish a name for himself, playing for a big club like Boca over in South America. It's a huge club, and it is regarded as a huge club across a lot of Europe as well. Obviously, there's a big gulfing difference in terms of, like, regardless of that, he seems like a very good player. He's obviously being regarded highly to play alongside Rodrigo de Paul as well. Someone for the future, someone to bed in, and someone who's got a big career ahead of them. So I'm not surprised that Chelsea's sniffing around. £15 million. Now, this looks like the type of deal, in my opinion, like a Kendry Paez, where has a lot of potential, looks like a fantastic player, one for the future, 100%. Isn't quite a polished player, is a good player, can definitely go on and do things. We can get him cheap for £15 million. We can have a flip him for a profit in many years to come because he's going to, naturally develop and grow because we're going to be sending him out on loan, maybe to Strasbourg, maybe to somewhere else, more than likely Strasbourg. Kind of see how he goes on there. And then if there's no pathway to come into the Chelsea first team, we sell him for profit. This is what it really looks like to me, which is quite sad when you think about it. But when you look at the logistics of it, we are stacked in the defensive midfield position. Yes, Lavia is injury prone currently. Yes, Asugo's out currently. But then you look at when they're all fit, which there will be periods of the season where they are all fit. You've got Asugo, Santos, Caicedo, Enzo, and Lavia. They can all play that role. So this is definitely one for the future. I don't see us moving on many players in that position in the summer, this season, maybe next season, if that. I really don't see us moving anyone on. I feel like we're set in that position for a long, long time. So this does look like buy him cheap, loan him out, see him develop. If there's no pathway, sell him for profit. But it'll be very interesting just to keep an eye on this because from the little bits I've seen and what I've read up about him, he looks like a very good player. Not to say that I'm an expert. I'm far from it. I'm not claiming to be. But yeah, 20 years old. He's played for his country around 20 times, scored a goal for them, but mainly a defensive midfielder. Can play central midfield as well. But if Inter Miami are coming in, they want to put him next to Paul, then that's obviously a big, big thing for bedding him in for the future. So, do you know much about Delgado? Would you take him at Chelsea? Do you need to read up about him? Do you think he is one to flip for a profit in the future? Do you feel he has a pathway into Chelsea if we do go and secure him for around £15 million? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Estadio Deportivo have reported that Porto will listen to offers in the region of £52.5 million for striker Samu Omorodion, who is a target for Chelsea and Tottenham. Now, we spoke about Samu quite heavily this week, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time. We are going to get into the predicted 11. But I just wanted to kind of react to this, have a conversation with you guys, get your thoughts and opinions, because it's gone from €100 million to £100 million to £70 million to 52.5 in a matter of days. A matter of days. Now, he may have a release clause of €100 million. He may have a release clause of £70 million. Porto are now saying, hey, we'll listen to 52. 52 and a half and you can have him. Now, this sounds like a figure that Chelsea would actually pursue because we originally went in for him at around £40 million and there was an issue between the medical and the image rights you weren't willing to sell or whatever, which we've gone over before. That was more of a hold-up. Things may have changed now. Now, 52.5 million, if you're asking me, is in the region of Nicholas Jackson's sale money. That's where my brain immediately goes. We're definitely going to be offloading him in the summer, whether Bayern Munich take him or someone else takes him. We know that Everton are linked and there'll be other clubs that are interested in Nicholas Jackson for a reduced price because we received that 14 million loan fee up front this season. That brings it around 56-ish million, right? And Chelsea will probably move on that a little bit, around that 50 to 55 million if needed. That's the type of money that Porto are willing to ask for or willing to listen to for Samu. Now, is Samu a better striker than Nicholas Jackson? I think that's definitely up for debate. I like Jackson's profile. I like what he can do. I personally feel like he's more of a natural winger. And he offers a lot as a 9 in a different sense to Delap, in a different sense to Guiu, in a different sense to João Pedro. Samu, I think, is a different profile. He is a big unit up front that's powerful, can finish, good in the air. But I feel like we have Delap. We have Guiu, who we're looking to develop. I don't know. This could be a weird one for Chelsea where they sign him and we don't really understand why, but then he hits the ground running. We don't know. This could be all waffle because it's so many different sources and there's so many different figures. But this one looks the more realistic, going from 100 million to then 52.5 in a matter of days. That seems like more of the figure they're willing to listen to because they obviously bought him for around 40 million, so they'd still be making profit on him. Now, I don't see them letting him go because he scored 9 goals in 12 games. Do you know what I mean? So unless they're just looking for a quick profit, maybe they don't see a future in him. Maybe they know something that we don't behind the scenes in terms of medical history or whatever. Maybe there was an element of truth to the medical being failed at Chelsea. And Porto's medical staff are willing to look the other way, or not look the other way, but maybe say, oh, this is repairable long term. We probably just thought risk assessment, not worth it. We need someone now. Who knows? But it looks like that price is drastically dropping for someone like Samu. And in the inflated striker market, I would say around 40 to 50 million probably makes sense off of the back of this extra season we've seen of him where he has scored more goals and we've seen more of him. Whereas when we were the first linked with him for 40 million, we went, who is this kid? He's played a handful of games. This makes no sense. Whereas now, he's actually scoring goals, showing more of his profile, more of his qualities, and he's obviously developing a little more and playing regular football in Porto. So It'll be very interesting to see what happens with this. Just wanted to react to it quickly and get your thoughts and opinions. A lot of you guys have been, having a conversation with me in the last few videos regarding Samu specifically. I don't think it makes sense, but Chelsea don't make sense sometimes. I think if the target figure is around 52 million, then that is Chelsea region. That's all I'm thinking. Nicholas Jackson goes for a similar figure. Samu was available for that sort of figure. We know what Chelsea are like. They're probably going to move a bit mad. So let me know your thoughts and opinions regarding the price tag of Samu. Are you still, we don't need him? Do you actually like the thought of him? Let me know your thoughts. So let's predict Chelsea's starting 11 to face Qarabag in the Champions League tomorrow night. Now, I feel like there will be a lot of rotation. Enzo Maresca's spoken about it. We've gone over this in the video. Obviously, if the injury updates and things, I genuinely think that Jorgensen is going to be starting in goal. I think he's going to give Sanchez a rest, which does worry me a little bit because this could make it 3 Champions League wins in a row. Now, you could look at it on paper and say Chelsea should be blowing these guys away. I don't want to be so disrespectful because they've had good results against Benfica. They had good results against the rest of their opposition. I think it was Copenhagen. They lost a game recently which they shouldn't have lost. They've been performing well this season in the Champions League, and we cannot afford to underestimate them. And Jorgensen is just makes us fans very nervous. He's very shaky in goal at the moment. So if he comes out and performs a masterclass, fair play to him. And there will be times in this season where he is going to be given an opportunity to do that. But the last couple of times we've seen him play, he's not filling me with confidence. So I feel like he's going to play in rotation, but yeah, I'm not a fan. When it comes to the left back, I'm going to go with Marc Cucurella, even though this is potentially a reason to rest him and play Jorel Hato. We could see him at centre-back as well. I don't know. I feel like it's Champions League. We have to start with a strong squad. I'm going to go with Marc Cucurella. With the 2 centre-backs, this is where you can ask the question, you could have Fofana, you could have Chalobah, that's who started against Spurs, you could have Tosin in there, you could have Ashimpong. I feel like Ashimpong was rested. I feel like Ashimpong will probably be one of the centre-backs, but it's who are you going to partner with him? Maybe we put a Tosin in there, maybe we put a Chalobah in there. I would actually really like to see a Hato-Ashimpong centre-back partnership, but I just don't think it's going to happen. So what I think is going to happen is I think we might actually have Chalobah on that left-hand side, because we're still without Badiashile. We could play Hato, but I don't think it's going to happen. And then Ashimpong, if I could spell. Ashimpong, there we go. On that right-hand side. Gives Wesley Fofana a bit of rest if needed. Tosin as well, a bit of rotation. Because when it comes to that left centre-back, Chalobah is the only one that can kind of play that. I mean, when we need to, we've played Tosin there. We can obviously play Hato, but I just don't see a world where Enzo starts Hato and Ashimpong together as much as I'd like to see it. So when it comes to right back, I honestly feel like Reece James will be starting there. I don't see why not, especially with Enzo saying he's ready to play 3 games a week. Why not? Play him right back if he's fit, ready and available, and it's not going to affect him in that sense. Play him. He's world class. When it comes to the holding midfield, I think it's very standard that we're going to see Caicedo in there because we don't have any sort of recovery for him. Now, this is the question. Do you have Andre Santos in that 6 and rest Enzo? Do you play Enzo in the 10 and have Andre Santos so you can fit 2 of them in there? Do you play Romeo Lavia? Do you start him? Because Maresca is saying, we need to manage him. We make sure he doesn't get injured. I think this would be a good game for him to play, especially being alongside Caicedo. Do you bring him on in the second half? This is the big question for me in this position. This is where there's always going to be competition for it. Now, I feel like it's going to be Caicedo and Enzo, purely because of who we've got available further up in the pitch. So I'm going to go Caicedo and Enzo. I love that partnership. I think it's so good. We saw Enzo playing a bit further forward against Tottenham, and that worked quite well as well at times. But I like Caicedo and Enzo because we have Reece James in midfield, right? I feel like we're actually going to see that partnership, Reece James at right back. When it comes to the left wing, I'm going to go with Jamie Gittins, I want Jamie Gittins to start. Garnacho looked very stressed. Not stressed, but annoyed when he was substituted. And I like that about the player because I don't think it's an attitude problem. I think he's disappointed in himself that he's not performed enough where the boss needs to take him off. I think he's annoyed at himself. Or maybe annoyed at Enzo for making that decision. Who knows? At the end of the day, Gittins has been outperforming him recently. And I feel like that, merit of performance and momentum, give Gittins more game time. When it comes to the number 10, I am going to go with João Pedro. Now, again, this could be an opportunity to rest him if needed, so this could be horribly wrong. But because we are without Pedro Neto, I feel like we could see João Pedro in the 10, and then Esteval get a start in the Champions League. If I could spell, I really can't spell today. Esteval a start in the Champions League on that right wing. That's how I would set up that front three. It does depend on João Pedro. If he isn't fit enough to play, rest him, put Esteval on the 10. But then who do we play on that right-hand side? I don't really want to be seeing, Malo Gusto playing right wing. I don't really want to be seeing Gittins playing right wing, Garnacho on the left just for the sake of it. So it could be João Pedro doesn't play and we see Buonanotte in that 10, which I'd be more than happy with. We could see Enzo Fernandez in that 10, Andre Santos in that 6. Happy with that too, which is probably more likely. But in an ideal world, this is what I'm predicting that, you know, it's going to go out. We've got to go out with a strong squad. It's a Champions League game. We need to get this win, make it 3 out of 3, and go out with some intent. And that leaves the number 9, and I'm going to go with Liam Delap. And again, you could potentially argue the case that Mark Guillou deserves the start, and I hear it, I really do, but we need to get Delap up to speed because he's going to be utilised a lot more across this season, and I think this is a perfect game for him to come back, make a statement, apologise to the fans by doing his football, let the football doing the talking, and get himself involved, whether it's an assist or a goal, and really just hit the ground running and integrate him back into an Enzo Maresca system, getting him up to full pace. So that is the predicted 11 I feel like we could go with tomorrow and get the job done. Jorgensen, I'm only putting him in there, like I said, because Maresca's mentioned Jorgensen about him being an option. I feel like he's going to rotate Sanchez. We could see some other rotations there, but I want to see Ashenbong play. I really, really do. And I want to see Delap play and Esteval get his start on that right-hand side in the Champions League. So let me know your thoughts and opinions down below regarding this starting 11. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know who you were playing different positions. I'm very curious to know your thoughts. And that's the latest Chelsea news. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported down below in the comment section. I love having a conversation with you guys. And if you have watched this video all the way to the end, firstly, you're a real one. And I mean that. You're a real one. But secondly, there'll be a thumbnail appears on the screen. So if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content, make sure you click that thumbnail because you'll enjoy that video too.